Today I want to share the 3 tools that I can't live without as a coach and consultant. They are all simple, free, and I am not trying to sell you anything. They are just the tools that have had the most impact for me professionally. So grab your cup of tea and let's dive into it. I was at an event recently speaking on a panel, and I was asked a question about what tools or platforms have had the most impact on my personal brand. And I only had a limited amount of time to be able to give my response, and I really focused on the platforms that have had the most impact on my professional journey. But I don't think the tools that can operate behind those platforms get enough credit. And there are so many tools that I can talk about in terms of what I use and what helps me to be able to show up every day in these roles as a coach and consultant. But I just wanted to hone in on the 3 that I think are the most useful and what I think a lot of people could benefit from if perhaps they're not tools that you're currently making the most of. And some of these I'm sure that you have heard of, that you're very familiar with, but maybe you're not using them to their full extent, or maybe you haven't thought about the value that they have to provide. So the first one is Canva. And I had thought about whether or not to include Canva in this list because I know it is just so popular now. But speaking to someone after this event that I was at really made me think about it, because they said when I was asked the question, Canva was the first thing that came into their minds. I know for people that run their own business, this is something that they rely on a lot. As a business owner, or if you're self-employed, you can find yourself wearing a lot of hats. So you might be head of finance and you're also the marketing director, and you have to do all your graphic design if you don't have your own team or someone that you can outsource that to. And that is where Canva has come in really handy for so many people. And I just wanted to include Canva on this list to give them the credit that I truly feel that they deserve, because so much of the philosophy behind Canva, which was an Australian founded business which is now worth billions and billions of dollars, was to make design accessible for more people. They wanted to make it intuitive so that the everyday person could create in a way that used to only be reserved for people that had specialist design skills. And it really came from the experience of Melanie Perkins, who was teaching students in this space. And she just found that all of those traditional platforms weren't as intuitive as they could be for people that were learning in that space. And that is what I love about Canva, is that if you have any sort of computer skills whatsoever, you'll be able to use it really easily. And I'm just blown away sometimes by the amount of features that Canva makes available on the free subscription. That is just what I use, so you don't even need to get the paid subscription, and you can get so much out of Canva as a platform. Coming from a marketing background, I used to find that in the workplace, for example, Canva used to be that thing that other teams would use when they were kind of going off and doing their own thing, or creating things for maybe social club or any other things that didn't need to officially go through our team. And I think a lot of people can sometimes still see it in that space, and we can put pressure on ourselves to learn the fanciest tools. I know when I first wanted to start to learn more in graphic design, I naturally just took to Adobe because I thought that that was just what I had to do if I wanted to take that space more seriously. But there are tons of graphic designers that use Canva. They offer tons of templates on the platform too, so you can use the foundation that they have established to create a really nice, sleek brand for yourself as a coach or consultant. My second tool that I could not live without is Grammarly. Now, I was very late to the Grammarly party because I just assumed that Grammarly was just a different version of a spell check, which we obviously have on, Word, if you use Word, or Pages on a Mac, or all the other documents or platforms that you might use tend to have a built-in spell check feature. But when I first started using Grammarly years ago, I discovered that it is so much more than that. Number one, I find that it picks up way more things than what the standard built-in features for spell checks and grammar does, it can show you tons more than what normally comes up in those assessments. So that helps in terms of errors or basic grammar. But the thing that I love most about Grammarly is actually this weekly report that it sends straight to your inbox. And a part of that, which is something that I tell my personal brand coaching clients too, is that it gives you this little breakdown of your tone of voice and the top dimensions of your tone of voice. So it's one thing to understand the tone of voice that you would like to have for your personal brand as a coach, consultant, or professional, but it is another to understand how that is actually coming across to other people. Are you actually aligning when you communicate? And Grammarly can be used across different platforms. So you can use it on your email. You can use it to assess your communication in multiple ways so that you can understand how you are communicating to other people. And it also shows you the trends with these dimensions over time. So if there is a particular element that you want to see more of, you can see if that is on the rise. You can see if that is on the decline. So I think that is a really nice feature to have as a part of Grammarly as well. And again, all of this is just through the free version too. And there are other features if you do sign up to the paid version where it can help you with some of the clarity and conciseness of your writing as well. And if you do need more help with your conciseness and your clarity, this is where my third favorite tool can be really helpful, and that is the Hemingway app. This is actually maybe there is an actual app for it, but I use the website browser version of this and I find that really, really helpful. This is something that just really changed the game for me a few years ago. I don't use it every day anymore as I used to during that period because I've now been able to just build that muscle a little bit more as to what it was helping me to develop skills in. And essentially what that is clarity and conciseness. And Hemingway was known for being incredibly concise. So it does have a really high benchmark in terms of the conciseness that it is helping you to execute in your writing. But it is super simple. It is a platform where you jump straight into the homepage and you copy and paste the text that you are working on into that homepage, and in literally milliseconds it will assess your writing and it will give you feedback on different elements of your writing. And I know that can sound complex, but it actually is really, really simple because it uses this highlighted color code system that makes it really clear as to why it is highlighting particular areas. For example, the dimensions that it really focuses on are sentences that are very hard to read, which you'll get in red, sentences that are hard to read, so you've got that in a different color. In yellow, you've got weakeners, so they are the things that are causing you to have more of a passive voice versus an active voice in your writing, and also things like unnecessary adverbs or qualifiers. And it also helps you to highlight words that are overly complex, so it will literally pick out one specific word here and there and tell you that there is a simpler alternative that exists. So the idea is to simplify your writing as much as possible, and you can work on it in the Hemingway homepage app as well. So you can see how you can actually improve on those areas and how that is affecting the assessment that it is giving you in real time as well, which is really cool. And it will also just help you to build that muscle of being more direct and clear in your writing. And I will preface this by saying that it may not be for everyone or every scenario because it is so concise, but it is a way for you to understand when you are maybe not being as direct or as clear or as confident as you could be in your writing, and where you are being overly complicated, where more simple communication would be more effective for the message that you are trying to get across. So they are my three favorite tools as a coach and consultant. And if you are a coach and consultant and you want to learn more about building your personal brand, then subscribe to this channel and I'll see you in the next episode.